Hello everyone and welcome to the F1 Corner. After the final race of the season, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, won by Max Verstappen after leading every single lap, followed by Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. Not the exciting race that we were hoping for, but I will say, it is refreshing to have different winners for this week, and I would say for the last few races of the season, with Sergio Perez winning last year. So, without waiting anymore, it's time to take a look for the final time this season at who are the winners and losers of the 2020 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Before we start, please remember to hit the like button and to subscribe to this channel to not miss anything about the news surrounding the Formula One. As usual, we start with our winners for today, and we start with Red Bull. We had to wait until the end of the season to see a perfect weekend for Red Bull, but we finally got one. Max Verstappen simply dominated this race, leading every single lap, clinching the fastest lap and taking victory. It is true that Mercedes had a bit of an engine concern, but Max drove brilliantly. Alex Albon might have saved his seat for Red Bull today. He stayed in fourth throughout the race, which prevented Mercedes from trying anything crazy and even catching up to Hamilton at the end. We should know shortly if he stays in the team or not, but for this final race of the season, we give Red Bull a 9.5 out of 10. McLaren. At the end of a very tight battle for the Constructors' Championship ranking, McLaren also did everything perfect and they clinched third place and the money that goes with it. After a very good qualification, Norris and Sainz showed great pace during the race and finished 5 and 6, getting enough points to beat Racing Point. They took advantage of the safety car to get a short pit stop and gain some time. And remember that this was also Carlos Sainz's last race at McLaren, heading to Ferrari next season. You can bet that they will celebrate tonight. 9 out of 10. Renault. After a tough qualification, fighting for the third place in the constructor was not gonna happen. Ricciardo did not pit when the safety car came out, as he was already on the hard tires and they were not used enough, and in the end, staying out paid off somewhat as he managed to finish 7th. Ocon, who is finally starting to be at ease with the car, fought until the very last lap with Lance Stroll to finish 9th and a few more points for the team. This was also the last race for Ricciardo with Renault, as he is going to McLaren next year and get replaced by Fernando Alonso. Very good race and season for Renault overall, despite them finishing 5th in the standing. Today, it is a 7.5 out of 10. AlphaTauri. Another pretty satisfying result for the Italian team to the end of the season. Things did not play out perfectly for everyone, as Kvyat lost more places than he gained and finishes out of the points, but Gasly manages to finish in 8th place, bringing home more points and showing again his consistency and ending a pretty good season. In all likelihood, we bid farewell to Kvyat, who will be replaced probably by Honda junior driver Yuki Tsunoda for 2021, but the Russian is aiming at a comeback in 2022. We end this weekend for AlphaTauri with a 7 out of 10. Alfa Romeo. Decent race for Alfa Romeo, especially for Kimi Raikkonen, who manages to finish 12th at the checkered flag, again not too far from the points. Giovinazzi, on a different strategy, did not get any real benefit, but they had to try something if they hoped for any results. Both driver will be back again next season, and if they can just find a little bit more in that car, they could be a regular points contender next year. For now, it is a 7 out of 10. We now get on to our passing grades, starting with Mercedes. They surely did not have a bad race, far from it, but a MG UK issue prevented them from fighting and giving off a show to everyone. They were never serious contenders for today's victory and got close from losing third place to Alex Albon at the end. That said, Lewis Hamilton did a great job after missing a week due to COVID and managed a nice third place despite probably not feeling 100%. Bottas also ends on a high by beating his teammate, and we now all hope that we will get an interesting battle in 2021. Today, though, it is a 6.5 out of 10. Williams. After living the dream at Mercedes, it was a return to reality for George Russell, who pulled off a nice race overall, finishing 15th, and Nicolas Latifi, his teammate for his last race this season, takes 17th. The positive is that Williams, despite being last of the championship, ends this season regularly finishing in front of the Haas and Alfa Romeo, meaning they are not last anymore. Luck was not on their side this season, as they could and should have gotten a few points if everything had gone their way. Now owned by Dorilton Capital, they will have money to develop that car and hopefully make a nice comeback next year. We end this week on a 6 out of 10. Haas. Even though both cars finished last in the race, we give a nice shout out to the Haas team for their commitment and never giving up throughout the season. Romain Grosjean got away from a terrifying crash in Bahrain, Pietro Fittipaldi did a nice job at substituting him, and Kevin Magnussen fought until the end, even knowing he would not be back next year. They turned the page today, as 2 rookie drivers are coming in those seats in 2021, and they will hope to come back with a bang surely for 2022, when the new rules will apply. This is the end of an era for the Haas Formula 1 team, and we leave them on a 6 out of 10. And we finish with our losers for this week. Sadly, we start with Ferrari. All hopes were on Charles Leclerc today, starting from 12th and hoping that he could climb and fight for points. But his teammate Sebastian Vettel had other ideas for his last race at Ferrari. Passing Leclerc at the start, he fought with everything he had to show that he was still a talented driver and that him leaving Ferrari doesn't mean he's done. Of course, this does not mean that much for the team as they were assured of their 6th place in the standing, but it also means that Leclerc, on better tires, got stuck behind Vettel on a track where it is already tough to overtake. I commend them for giving us a good show and not interfering with the race, but they end up outside the points, and let's hope they come with a better car next year. 5 out of 10. Racing Point. They were the team with the most to lose today. Clinging to that 3rd place in the championship only by a few points, everything had to be perfect for them to hang on to it. In the end, everything went wrong. Perez had to start at the back of the grid for an engine change, but this did not matter as he retired on lap 10 for mechanical issues. This meant that all hopes were on Lance Stroll, but he also could not bring the results home and finishes 10th for today's race. This is a real shame. Now there is only one question remaining. Will Sergio Perez drive in F1 next year? The man who had his best season ever with 3 podiums, including a victory in Bahrain, is still without a seat for next season. All rest on Red Bull at the moment, but whatever the outcome will be, the Mexican is confident to be back in 2022. As for Racing Point this weekend, we sadly give them a 4 out of 10. So, now that we have reached the end of the season, what does this mean for the future of the F1 Corner? Well, we have a few ideas for the upcoming weeks, upcoming months, until we get back to racing in Australia. Obviously, we're going to do a recap of the whole season pretty soon. We're going to come back on those predictions I made at the beginning of the season, all the way back in March, I believe, or February, before even the first race. And, of course, we will be covering the preseason testing when the teams goes back to Barcelona in February and March before the first race. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed these short reviews and tell me what you think and what I should improve for next season. Remember to hit the like button and to subscribe, and I will see you pretty soon next time. Take care, everyone, and thank you.